What's up guys, it's Theyo for Final Concept, and here are 10 things that every professional photographer needs in shooting weddings. Let's get started. Okay, so the first on the list is a professional camera. A high quality camera is essential for capturing sharp and detailed images. Full frame cameras are typically preferred for their superior image quality, but APS-C cameras can also work well. Now in my previous video, I did mention that everyone should upgrade to a full frame camera, and I gave my reasons why that is so. So if you're a professional photographer wanting to shoot weddings, getting a professional camera is highly recommended. And that's just brings us back to full frame cameras. So I will recommend you get a full frame camera that is going to give you a much faster shutter speed for taking those fast moving moments when the bride and groom are dancing, when they are walking down the aisle. You just get as many images as possible. Another reason for getting a professional camera is if you are using a full frame lens, you can work a lot better in the low light situations. I've noticed that when it comes to receptions, the lighting condition is mostly terrible. So if the lighting is very bad, relying on a crop sensor camera is not going to help you as much. I'll come back to this statement in a minute. But when you're using a full frame camera, that is your professional camera of choice, then it is going to give you much better shots in these type of situations. The next on the list is investing in premium lenses. So usually we'll go for telephoto lenses like the 85mm f1.8 or the 70-200 f2.8 lenses, because they can allow you to zoom in and you are not going to be so close to whatever is going on during the day. Take note, you are not the point of attraction. I've noticed most photographers will be using a 50mm f1.8 on a full frame lens, and they get so close into the occasion, especially when the bride and groom are taking their vows or doing something interesting. You can't move so close to them just to take shots of them. So investing in a telephoto lens like the 85 is going to be more zoomed in. The 70-200, which is a great lens, you can just stand at one point and just zoom all the way into 200 and no one is even going to notice that you are there, but you get all your images right there and then. Apart from that too, there are some standard lenses like the 50mm f1.8, which most people will recommend. That is the first lens every photographer or videographer should get. When it comes to wider shots, then you should get the 35mm f1.8 lens. Now I do say f1.8 in all of these because I've been using f1.8 lenses, but if you can afford the f1.4, there's nothing wrong with that. But bear in mind that because the aperture is opening up much wider, the lenses are going to be much expensive. If you buy a 50mm f1.8 for like $100, expect to pay the 50mm f1.4 lens like $250 or $300. That is how crazy it is. The next on the list is getting backup equipment. It's essential to have backup equipment such as cameras, lenses, batteries, memory cards, and flashes. Weddings are once in a lifetime event and there's no room for equipment failure. I had a camera, the Canon 600D, and it's very good, but I noticed that the battery doesn't last very long. My first event, I was taking pictures, I noticed that the battery will drop to just a single bar. So if someone is speaking for like 30 minutes, I've already taken about 5 shots of them on the pulpit. So what I'll do is I'll take the battery to one of these outlets, then I'll start charging it. When I notice that they are going to shake hands with someone or exchange certificates or something like that, then I have to unplug, put it in the camera and go and take that picture. Then I have to come back and charge. So it was quite hectic. What I did was invest in extra battery so I can be charging one whilst using the other. And that is one of the things a professional photographer should do. Get backup of everything that you own. And in getting those backup, it doesn't necessarily mean you should invest the exact same amount. So if you bought your camera for $1,000, it doesn't mean get another camera for $1,000. If you can afford, then definitely do that. But if you can't, you can lay low from a full frame. You can lay low with a crop sensor camera as your backup, so that in an event maybe your camera overheats, you can switch to the crop sensor and take some shots without actually conflicting yourself or losing some important shots. Apart from the cameras too, you also need lenses. Some of you may know that I am the official videographer for PDY Weddings. There was this one time we dropped a lens unintentionally. So we're using the 17 to 35 mil and it fell off a building. But because we had backup lenses, we could easily switch to them and cover the entire wedding before we even thought of how to repair the broken lens. So this is an example of why you should get a backup. The fourth thing is to have a shot list and timeline. A shot list and timeline is useful for keeping track of shots that need to be captured and ensuring that everything runs on schedule. Now, I believe it's not everyone who does this, because there are some people who have been doing this for a very long time. So they have the images they want to capture in their head and they just move with the flow. There are some people who would just say, okay, just pose for the camera. Whatever the couple will do, they'll just take a picture of it. Whether it is nice or not, they are just there to take pictures. But the actual thing is to have a short list of what shot you want. So probably you want the bride walking down the stairs whilst the groom is waiting for her, something like a first look. You can write that down or have an image of it. Just put down something so that when you are lost in the moment or you don't have any shots in mind, you can just pick up your phone or the sheet of paper with your shot list, just go through and be like, you know what, let's do this. If other people are around, like the groomsmen or the bridesmaid are like, you know what, I saw this image and I thought they could replicate it, allow them, let them also bring in their expertise. It's not always that you are the main focus. Let other people share. If it is nice, I mean, it goes out to you. You took the picture. But if it is not, you can delete it once you are editing. So let other people also bring their ideas on board and just pick them out as and when you are shooting. Also, having a timeline is important because in Ghana here, when it comes to weddings, usually we have the traditional wedding before the white wedding. With a traditional wedding, you know the groom is going to be bringing the items for the marriage to the family. You have to get shots of that. Then they call the bride, the person, someone is going to come for money as transportation. You know all of these are going in a traditional wedding. So you have a sort of a timeline for all the shots that you are going to take. All of these boils down to having something planned so that you are not so surprised by an event. Now, it's also important to have or to make your research when it comes to which couple you are taking pictures of. Most of the couples we've shot pictures and videos of are from the Christian religion. So we have a fair idea of how it's going to be. But when it comes to the Islam religion, it's completely different. So just have a fair idea or research about the couple, how the event is going to be. And if you can't do that, just ask them. It's as simple as that. So just have something at the back of your mind and you don't go in all surprised. The next on the list is having a good enough flash or speed light. A powerful flash is necessary for capturing well-lit images in low-light environment. It's also useful for creating dramatic effects during the ceremony or portrait sections. Now, I did mention that a crop sensor may not give you a good result when it comes to low light shots, and I did say I'll come back to it. The reason being, if you have a powerful flash, then you should be able to get away with a crop sensor camera, because if your flash is lighting up the room, then your crop sensor should be able to capture those images. So in as much as you may not invest so much on your camera, you should invest on the gears that come along with the camera. So your lenses and your flash should also be very good. Now, speaking of flashes, the next on the list is having a light stand and a softbox. This is not for everyone, but most people use it. A softbox is not entirely easy to set up and move around, but once you set it up and you have your subject right under it, you can take some beautiful pictures. It is not everyone who can have a second person carry the softbox for an event. But if you can, then you should definitely go ahead and get a softbox as well. So just having your speed light, bouncing it off a ceiling or slightly angled towards your subject should be good enough. But in situations where it is not, definitely get a softbox to light up your scene. Now, the items remaining are not necessarily something that everyone should have, but they are more nice to have items. So the next on the list is a tripod or monopod. A tripod or monopod is useful for keeping the camera steady and capturing sharp images. They are particularly useful for shooting in low light environments, capturing group photos and capturing long exposures. If you don't get a tripod, then obviously your hand is going to be shaky at some point, because obviously you are breathing, your heart is also pumping blood, so there's going to be a little bit of jerking in there, so it's not going to be as steady as possible. That is where the tripod comes in. The next item is communication tools. So anything like a mobile phone or two-way radio is necessary for communicating with the wedding planner, the videographers, and other vendors. It is essential to be able to coordinate and communicate with others to ensure that the wedding day runs smoothly. Now, this is good enough if you want to establish relationship with certain people when it comes to event planning. If you are having a different videographer or the videographer is part of your team, you can be communicating with them. Yo, I want to take this shot, so don't cross me, and don't go too zoomed in when you are capturing their first case, because I would like to take pictures as well on their first dance. So there are certain things that you would also want to take pictures of. I've noticed that when it comes to videography, most of us, I'm a videographer myself, most of us have wider lenses because we want to capture everything. So let's say the bride and groom are walking down, you want to get a shot of the ring, you have to move closer to them because you are using a wider lens. I use the 35mm f1.8 Tamron lens for my Nikon Z5, so that is a clear example. I will want to move in. Now the photographer is using an 85mm f1.8 or sometimes 70 to 200, so he is standing at somewhere zooming in. I wouldn't want to cross him because he might miss his shot. So having this communication device is going to allow you to know, yo, you can't take this particular shot at this particular time, or just angle yourself in certain ways that you do not cross me. It is also important to talk to the wedding planner that they should get the food ready, because you know what I mean. And the last on the list for nice to have is comfortable clothing and shoes. Weddings can be long and photographers need to be on their feet for extended periods of time. Now, having comfortable clothing and shoes is essential for you to be able to move from one place to the other without any hassle. So if you are wearing something that is so tight, you are wearing black on black with a baseball cap in this scorchy sun, you know you are going to get too hot or too tired very early. So dressing nicely and in a more comfortable outfit is also going to help you, the photographer, get more pictures on that wedding day, and you are not going to be tired after shooting after a while. And on the subject of comfortable clothing, you know you have to also dress nicely. Not just dress, you have to look and smell good. So don't just wear a t-shirt, baseball cap. There are some of you watching this and you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you can get your kaftan, your nice shoe, that is cool. If you can go with a long sleeve shirt like what I have on, that is also cool. But to be in an outfit that some may consider as inappropriate, then people will start talking like, hey, now photographer, what dress to say. And if you don't smell so good, it becomes uncomfortable to be around the bride or the groom to direct them into giving you certain poses, because I mean, the moment you come closer, they smell something bad. So yeah, just take good care of yourself. Overall, shooting weddings comes with a combination of technical skills, creativity, and preparation. So make sure you have all of those down. Hopefully I've been able to help you out with this video. There is a link up here and down in the description below to one of the videos also addressing these type of situations, so you can check on any of them. Anyway, that's about it, guys. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel and other channels which I have them linked below, and as always, don't forget to share with your family and friends. This is Theo from Theyo Concept, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.